Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's Pablo, and welcome back to GG Sports. I'm bringing you guys another episode of the Madden 19 Cincinnati Bengals 2019 Realistic Rebuild, and we are getting started with this episode by recapping the free agency, and then after that, we're getting right into the NFL draft where you guys will see our picks. But the first free agency signing that we need to discuss is going to be Tyler Eifert going to the Houston Texans, and then you saw Robbie Anderson go as well. So it seems like they're really trying to put some weapons around DeAndre Hopkins and Deshaun Watson. And then you also saw a big name like Golden Tate actually go to the Arizona Cardinals, and Jay Ajayi actually signed with the Buffalo Bills. So pay attention as these names keep scrolling. KJ Wright declined us to sign with the Indianapolis Colts. Another signing to note is going to be Mark Ingram signing with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, going to a division rival where he'll be the featured running back. So that'll be pretty interesting to see how that plays out. And then Marshawn Lynch also decided to play another year, but he is staying in Cali. He's playing for the Los Angeles Chargers this year. Shaquille Barrett plays for the Redskins this upcoming season. Latavius Murray actually signed with the Philadelphia Eagles. So when you're looking at all of these names, there were a lot of free agents, but we weren't able to get really any of these guys. The biggest name that we got, just to recap last episode, is going to be Pierre Desir, the former Indianapolis Colt. And Will Beasley there actually went to the Seattle Seahawks. That's something to note there. Carlos Hyde actually changed locations as well and signed with the Chicago Bears. I'm not sure how much playing time he will get, but Jawan James, the right tackle you guys knew we were looking at in the free agency, he actually signed with the Miami Dolphins. Jake Ryan there did as well. So like I said, not all of these are big names, but just kind of look out for some of these guys who switched teams. But before we get into the NFL draft, I'm just gonna go into my strategy before you guys see the actual picks. But like I said, just follow along while I'm discussing that. But for the NFL draft, I felt like the first two rounds I absolutely had to go linebacker or offensive lineman for the first two. Whichever position had the higher talent available in round one was who I was going to get. So stay tuned and see who I end up picking. Eric Reed actually signed with the Indianapolis Colts. That's a name you may know. And then they also signed Jordan Matthews and Josh Norman. So in those two moves, they did bolster their secondary. They got Josh Norman along with Eric Reed. So they're really interested in putting some pieces on that defense to finally contend past the divisional round, because we haven't seen the Colts really get past that. But hopefully with these additions, they'll be able to do that. But that'll definitely be a team that we want to look out for, because like I said, they were very active in free agency, so I'm sure they're going to be a lot better. But I'm going to speed it up through these last couple of players before we get into our picks for the NFL draft. And in just a moment, you guys will see who we picked with our first round pick. And just a heads up, when we started from where we were in real life a couple of weeks ago, for some reason the draft order got mixed up and I got moved to the 13th pick instead of the 11th where the Bengals are in real life. But we do use the 13th pick to draft the tackle out of Oklahoma, Cody Ford. And that is a much needed upgrade for this offensive line. He had a phenomenal season last year. As a junior, he's a great pass protector, tons of strength, and won't be that much of a project in terms of getting him in and starting him immediately. Won't need that much grooming. He probably will be starting day one. And in round two, we're going inside linebacker. Trey Lamar out of Clemson had a great year last year. The only downfall I see to his game is that he's not that great in pass coverage and is not that athletically gifted, but will be a good linebacker to bring in to rush the passer and maybe stop some of those run plays and blitz some of those gaps. But in round three, we're going Tyree Jackson, quarterback out of Buffalo. Very good physical specimen, does struggle with accuracy at sometimes, so this is more of a project pick. I did not draft him to come in and replace Andy Dalton immediately, but it may be in the cards for him to start depending on the season that we see from Andy Dalton, if his progression is there. So we'll be looking to progress him and develop him, I should say, to get him to the point where maybe he can challenge Andy Dalton for that starting job. But in round 4, we're going tight end CJ Conrad. We do not have a secondary tight end. The Bengals, we will be running some double tight end sets, so look for CJ Conrad to get some playing time. He is a blocking tight end. And in round 5, I'm going Daniel Wise. This was a BPA pick, a best player available pick. Scouts in this franchise were projecting him to go in the 3rd round, so I decided to take a chance, take a flyer on that D tackle and see if eventually he can develop into something else. And then at linebacker in the 6th round, we went with Drew Tranquill. And in the 7th round, I did spend a pick on a kicker. Looking back on it right now, I probably didn't have to do that, but I did want to bring in someone to challenge Randy Bullock because he really struggled outside of 50 yards. So we may be replacing him soon. But here's an overview of our draft. All of our rookies getting signed to 4-year deals. Cody Ford, definitely the #1 pick, who we're most excited about. That offensive line really needs some help, so it's not a sexy pick, but he will impact this team immediately on day 1. And then Trey Lamar, if he has an impressive preseason, look for him to start, because we do need some fresh young legs at linebacker. Alec Ogletree, I feel like, was a decent signing, and he'll be playing a lot of time split with Trey Lamar. They both will be coming in, but Cody Ford, there are his attributes. He's going to be starting day 1. There's no need to even discuss that. Trey Lamar, like I said, he's going to be splitting time with Alec Ogletree, because he's not the best pass coverage linebacker, so he'll be blitzing and then getting most of his time on early running downs. But Tyree Jackson, moving on to him, I felt like this was a good project pick because if you look at the Bengals, I think Zac Taylor is going to come in with a win now mentality, and I don't think they're going to be ready to replace Andy Dalton right off of the bat. So this way we get a good prospect who we can develop over the next couple of years, and then when Andy's contract is up or if he underperforms, we'll have that rookie ready to go as he's learning on the bench behind Andy Dalton. But like I said, we didn't get too many players that would impact us right now, but we do have some potential. I really like the potential of Tyree Jackson and Lamar, and then like I said, it speaks for itself, the impact that Cody Ford will have. So overall, I would have to give my draft grade a C+ because we were able to address one of our biggest needs, which was the offensive line. We were also able to draft a successor for Andy Dalton possibly, and then also we were able to get some young talent at linebacker. But there were a lot of guys that I wanted to get that were not available, a lot of linebackers that flew off the board. There was a right tackle, his name escapes me right now, that I wanted to draft that I couldn't get. So the main target that I wanted to get that was not there was Devin White, obviously, but he was not on the board. In the 1st round, I would have went with him. The best tackle or linebacker that was available as far as projected draft position was Cody Ford. So there wasn't a linebacker that had a higher draft position projected than him. So I felt like, I made the best out of what I was able to do, but there was always room for improvement. So I give myself a C+ on that draft. But leave a comment and let me know what you guys think about the draft. What players would you have liked to see me get? Also, most importantly, leave a like and subscribe. I really appreciate the support that you guys give me on these videos. Check out the playlist if you're new to catch up on where we are. In the next episode, you guys will see gameplay for the first time in this series. So leave a comment and let me know if you want to see preseason. If not, I'll go straight into the regular season and then give you guys an episode where I just summarize the preseason and what happened there. But definitely appreciate you guys' support, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Later.